What is going on, good wonderful people? We're bringing our video, and today we're talking about Avatar, a theory video, and today's series about, will Quaritch eventually turn and learn to see? So Avatar is going to be on its final 2 installments, and Avatar 4 is set for 2029, and Avatar 5, which is the final installment, is set for 2031. And we're talking about Quaritch. For those who need a recap, he is the the colonel in the first film, and he was brought back as a clone in a Na'vi body called Recoms. In Avatar 2, that was released in 2022, The Way of Water. And Quaritch in Avatar starts out like his normal self, like just wants nothing to do with not the world of Pandora, and just following orders with the RDA, and wants to help humanity conquer and take over Pandora as the new home of the human race, since Earth is dying in the Avatar franchise. And Quaritch, we all know, has a son named Spider, and throughout Avatar 2, he goes through a lot of cycles like Jake Sully, like learning to ride a Banshee, an Ikaron, and also learning to adapt in his Na'vi new body, even though it's just a clone and doesn't have the memories when he died, the original. And throughout Avatar, Quaritch looks at Spider as nothing connected to him, since it's just his memories in a different person. But throughout the film, you can see Quaritch is starting to bond with Spider, especially, and caring for him throughout the end of Avatar 2, The Way of Water, when the Neytiri said, "I cut," and was ready to kill Spiders after Natea was killed by Quaritch's recon team. And Quaritch lets Kiri go because he doesn't want his son to die, and before that scene he says, "He's not mine," but deep down inside he wants to be the father that Spider never had that much, except when you look at Jake as the adopted father. Even though it has said in weeks when Avatar was coming out that an adopted son, but I guess in Avatar 4, Neytiri, which, not a guess, it's in general now, is going to accept Spider as part of her family, because we saw that part in Avatar 3, spoilers, her running so Jake doesn't, which we thought Jake was going to kill Spider because of them looking for him, because of his human Na'vi hybrid, saying that they want to study so they can learn to breathe the air of Pandora without a mask. And in Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, we see a scene where in Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, after Jake Sully gives himself up to protect the Water Clan and his family, and he's transported to Bridgehead City with Spider and Quaritch, tells him, "I'm your father," and brings him food by bringing him a hamburger. He says, "I got you burger," and he says, "I'm still me," and Spider replies in the scene saying, "You're just something he gave his memories to," and Quaritch said, "I'm still me," and that's where he really wants to call him his son, and he wants Spider to accept him as Spider's father. So Quaritch really starts out in the Avatar 2, Way of Water, and Avatar 3 as someone that wants to follow orders, get revenge on Jake Sully, and not caring about the beauty and danger of Pandora and the world that is Pandora, and the Na'vi's god Ava, and not wanting pretty much nothing to do with Spider, but respecting that he's loyal to Jake Sully and he's got heart to fight for him. So, in Avatar 3 Fire and Ash, there's a lot of scenes that show Quaritch changing more and more. Like, and especially when he's questioned about things. Like, the scene after they escape the Fire and Ash people for the first time. There's a scene where Jake Sully says, all this time you still don't get it, Colonel. You have new eyes now. And he's telling him that he's free. And also in Avatar 3, that all the men and women he lost when Jake Sully betrayed them. Like, Jake Sully in Avatar 1 was just a man on a mission to get his legs back as a part of a deal so he can walk again. Quaritch says, if you get the information and get them to move, I'll get this surgery for you. And Jake Sully, which we all know, ends up falling in love after learning the ways to become a member of the clan. I forget what the clan's called, but so in Avatar 3 Fire and Ash, Quaritch still thinks that he's still himself no matter what body he's in. But throughout the movie of Avatar 3, he starts wearing Na'vi colors. He starts wearing a normal Na'vi outfit. He starts also, like, you can tell he's fallen in love with Buran. I always have a hard time pronouncing her name. Psychic of the Fire and Ash clan. And also, in Fire and Ash, drinking and eating what the Fire and Ash clan do and embracing their culture. Because if you watch closely in Avatar 3, he says, we're the fire. You can tell he's really wanting, like, embracing that clan. And throughout the end of Avatar 3, Jake Sully tells him he has a choice. There's a world out there that you could see, and he's free, that he's able to make his own decisions, and he doesn't want to kill Spider, and he's still trying to follow orders, and also in Avatar 3, when he says, I can still complete this mission when he's speaking to that general woman, she says, you're a disgrace to your uniform. He's not wearing military outfits of the RDA. He's wearing a normal Na'vi loincloth, painting himself, like I said, with the tribe paint, like native tribes do, and before he jumps off the cliff after the battle in Avatar 3, he says, what do we do now? And he says, do I learn to see? And Jake Sully says, you have a choice, and he tells his family to not shoot at Quaritch, to give him a choice, and he jumps off the cliff, and we all know his flying thing's gonna save him, because Quaritch has been confirmed to be in all sequels, and Buran's gonna save him, most likely. So, the topic of this series is, will Quaritch in Avatar 4, like, betray the RDA and learn to see? I don't think it's gonna happen in Avatar 4, but I think near the end, he's gonna be very, very close. Like, and I think in Avatar 5, that's when he's gonna do it, either by, my prediction is, betraying the RDA, and because they're either gonna threaten Buran and her clan in Avatar 4, and saying, if you don't do this, you are now an enemy of Bridgehead City, which is the city in Avatar on Pandora, and Quaritch will choose his new clan. Or I think Jake Sully will, at the end of Avatar 4, will finally convince him to see. But I still think it's going to be saved for Avatar 5, mostly. But I really think, as much as I don't want it, I wanted Quaritch to be very brutal. The story's being set up where he has a choice, because it's not like it's the same Quaritch that was human. Like, yes, he has his memories and personalities, but he has a choice in the end. So I really think Quaritch is going to learn to see, as much as I don't want that. I wanted him to be very, very brutal, going for revenge, like I said, but that's not the same character. One thing I personally like to see is, I remember during an IGN news video that said the actor was going to be hired to be the villain for all 4 sequels. And I think it is confirmed Quaritch is this villain for all of them. But in Avatar 3, it looked like Buran is the main villain. But it could also change with the time jump that Quaritch is now banished and now fully part of the Fire and Ash clan, since they're like pirates. Like, I would love to see him fully embrace a pirate, like, of the Fire and Ash clan. But I feel like eventually all clans, including the Dark clan, this is also a possible theory, the Fire and Ash clan will all have to band together to fight the RDA, because they'll see there are no good or ally Na'vis. That could make a good prediction for Avatar 4 and 5. So, I personally would love to see Quaritch about to die and ask to Jake or whoever. There is always a possibility Jake Sully could die in Avatar 4 or 5, but if he lives, I would love to see him, like, as his last wish, his dying wish is to see what Jake Sully fully embrace. So yeah, I think Quaritch is going to turn good and betray the RDA and is going to learn the sea, but not until Avatar 5. So what do you guys think? Leave in the comments below.